We're back with another episode in the hot seat with Jessica Otto at Florida Kids. Welcome back, Jessica. And so here this week, we're going to chat about the topic of interviewing. You and I have been talking about interviewing for quite a while. And so tell me about your interview process at Florida Kids and maybe what are you looking for? Or is there a secret question that you always have to ask? Tell us a little bit about that.
So the first question that always gets asked is, how did you enter the field? That's our very beginning. Where did you hear about speech? Where did you hear about OT? Where did you hear about PT? How'd you get there? That's question one. And then question two is for them to tell me about their experience with a student, experience with the child that they've worked with, and give them the opportunity to share progress with them, share a relationship they've built with the child, or share a story that they have from before when they have seen change or seen growth.
Why are those questions important, right? I'm assuming that every SLP company and every therapy office is probably asking the roundabout range, right? Like there's only so many ways you can ask a question about your experience with kids. So why is it important? And maybe what are you looking for specifically at Florida Kids that someone who's watching this may take away from that conversation today?
I feel like those questions are so telling. The getting into the field, it shares if there's a personal connection, or it shares if they're just a super dedicated individual or a super caring individual. That lends itself to the field in a really amazing way. And then sharing about their relationship with a child gives so much, I think, so much insight into an individual. It shares their overall personality. It shares if they're flexible or not. It shares about how they think. And those are the things to me that are key. In order to be in this job, like you need the technical knowledge, but when speech pathologists, OTs, SLPAs, CODAs, PTs, PTAs, when they're interviewing, they already have the technical knowledge. They've been to school.
Yeah.
And I need to know, do they have the personality? Do they have the flexibility? Do they have the care? Do they have the critical thinking skills? If they walk into their room and their room's being used for testing, how do they react? If they walk in and the whole school's on a field trip except fifth grade, how do they react? I mean, these are real things that happen all the time. But you have to know, like, how will I react when something that I don't expect happens? Because you're working with children and they come in with an experience every day that you're unaware of, and you have to be able to meet them where they're at and still work on their overall developmental goals.
What insight too into, I think that's going to resonate and sit with me for a while is that every kid, when you experience them the next day, they will have experienced something the day before that you weren't privy to. Wow, what an interesting take. And I think too, this speaks to the interview process and how we try to find great talent for Florida Kids. And so if you are, interested in looking for something different, you're watching this video thinking maybe I need to start following along with Florida Kids. Click follow, share, and follow along with Jessica. We'll put her LinkedIn comments below or her LinkedIn profile in the comments below because I think that what we do at Florida Kids really sets us apart in terms of always looking for amazing talent who are showing up to experience the kid for the first time, right? Because it could be new from what they've experienced before, and someone who's just really flexible and can care for kids well. So that's a little bit behind the scenes of what it's like to interview at Florida Kids. So feel free to take notes.